All right, Jesus is Lord. All right, what you're looking at is a the notes from a study on the different halves of the tribulation period as described in the Bible. This is where we started over here, kind of just looking and finding out that verse 9 and 13 is equivalent to verse 16 and 12. They're both talking about the sixth angel, the seventh angel. But when you read what these angels are doing, it looks like to be the same thing. Like here, these verses here, you see they both talk about the 144,000. That's over here and over there. And in this verse here, you see they're both talking about something that impacts the earth, creating an earthquake kind of thing. And so what we ended up doing, if you look over here, is we put them in order, and what you get is in verse 12. You can find it in the whole book of the whole chapter 4. Verse 2 is chapter 5, and what you get in verse 1 of chapter 12. What it says is that there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. Upon her head a crown of 12 stars. See, that's a vision in heaven. And when you go back to chapter 4, you're going to see the same vision in heaven, except it's expanded out a little bit. It's not really talking about the heaven thing. Come back over here. It's talking about the political side of it. You got the religious side of it and the political side of it. So you come back over here, you got the religious side up here at the top, and then the political side down here. They all correlate with one another. Now, you say, well, how do we get that there's a planet that's coming from behind the sun? Well, when we get to this part where we talk about the dragon here. Now, not to skip a verse, let me read verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And we can put that part that I'm reading there. So read verse 3 right here. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Okay, this is describing this thing in the sky. Now, back up here, we saw that it was a vision in heaven, as in a star constellation alignment. And we actually saw this in our dimension, in a reality to where, it's physical and there. So we can also expect that what comes here is also physical, and it's talking about a red dragon that's there in the star constellation wave. Now, the same reason why I can't point to the sky and show you this is behind the sun. We can't see this red dragon that's potentially behind there. That is behind there. It's definitely behind there.
So you're saying that Planet X is the red dragon that Revelation speaks of.
Yeah, it's the red dragon. Because look what it does. Verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and it cast them to the earth. And the dragon... Okay, so this is saying that he threw the stars down to the earth. Now, to me, what this is trying to tell us is that you see how many stars there are up there in heaven. You count them. There's so many hundreds, thousands, millions, and billions of stars out there. Well, it's going to be this many of them, or a third of them, is cast that many of them going to come down and hit the earth. So it's like a meteor shower. It's not a big rock per se right there, but like a spray, where these smaller rocks are coming. Okay? And the dragon stood before the woman. And you say, okay, well, I don't know if I see that. But you come over here and you see verse 12, 4, and you go over here to 6, 12, and 13, and you see the same thing. So let's go over here, chapter 6, verse 12 and 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. Okay? Even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So this is talking about stars falling. Just coming down like I remember one time we was under the apricot tree, and we had the bright idea to shake it. Remember all them things fell down? Well, that's similar to what we got there. Okay? And the heaven departed as a scroll. Okay, wait, we are supposed to be at 12 and 13. And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there a great earthquake, and the sun was darkened as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Now, this right here, when you take this as a physical event, not allegorically or not symbolically, but if you say, well, this is actually going to physically happen, what do you get here in verse 12? And behold, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. Okay? So a great earthquake being caused by something in the planet, something in the world is going on. And the sun became as black as sackcloth. So something's blocking the sun and causing an earthquake. The earthquake may come first, but then at the same time there's something blocking the sun. So if you speak to it in chronological order, you got an earthquake, the earth is shaking, boom, 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 boom. And then there's something that's darkening the sun. And at the same time that the sun is being darkened, you know, that's an eclipse. There's something that's blocking the sun. It's an eclipse. It's turning the sun dark. And then after that, the moon became as blood, and we've experienced a lot of blood red moons. And you say, well, what causes the blood red moon? Well, it's an eclipse of the moon. The planet, our planet, is actually eclipsing the moon, and so when all of the color, all of the brightness, all of the sunlight is blocked from the moon, it gives off a deep dark red color, because they say that red light bends, better than that light that's reflected. So you say, well, how does that happen? There has to be something in the sky that not only eclipses the sun, but is bright enough that it eclipses the moon as well. It shines, casts a shadow on the moon. Okay?
So this can't be the same event that happened when Jesus went to the cross, because although there was an earthquake and the sun became black, the moon did not turn. It says nothing about the moon turning as blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And it would have been, that gives you a hint in the timing. Either they failed to mention that part at all, or it's in there and we haven't, pulled it out. I know I haven't thought about it in any level of detail, but that would be significant, because in order for it to be, it would have been in the same part of the season. It would have been the 15th day of the first month, opposed to the 7 now. I don't know. I cannot agree with what you said. Although I tried my best, I can't agree with it. But based on the fact I don't have enough information, a blood red moon could have been there, or it could not have been the time for a blood red moon or something. So it takes a little bit more research before I can agree with that. But maybe we'll catch it next time. All right, we'll end it there.
Okay.